Alright, here we go, another fishing report. My camera battery's getting low, so I'm going to try to get it done before it croaks. Start out with, I'm on the west end of the lake, like a lot of you know. I'm chasing brown trout, and Ricky's doing the Salmon River thing. So if you recognize where I am, don't say anything in the comments. These are very fragile resources. A lot of people depend on them for their fishing, so I don't want to cause any undue attention to where I am. Going forward, we'll start out with the west end. It's been kind of a status quo week. We're still waiting for a lot of our brown trout to show up. Very few females. The fishing has been okay to decent. Well, we make it decent. We've been working hard for our fish. We've gotten some real monsters. So we're getting some big brown trout. We're just not getting big numbers, but we're getting big fish. I suspect that we haven't seen the bulk of our fish come into the system yet. It was warm all last week. Water temperatures got up. The fish kind of moved a little bit better. They took a little bit better, but we still had to work at it. We got some really nice browns. It's the same old deal. A lot of egg flies. So we're fishing a lot of nuclear roe bugs and Oregon cheese. Some orange egg beaters, small egg beaters, kind of a burnt orange. That butterscotch is getting some fish. Some chartreuse is getting some fish on 10s. But the water has, in some places, came up temporarily with a little bit of rain, but we're still dealing with low clear water. That's generally the gig. Some of our bigger rivers that got some salmon in them, like Oak Orchard's got some salmon in it. There's an odd brown trout, a few browns in there, but a lot of fishing pressure. In fact, even all of our creeks out here has got more than normal fishing pressure right now. So it's kind of busy. We have to cover a lot of water to find our fish. We're fishing the pools, we're fishing the runs, riffs. We're just covering all the water we can find and doing a lot of hunting. So it's still a hunting gig. We can't just go work pools or runs and know we got a nice handful of fish in there. We got to find our fish, and it's like a fish here, a fish there, and keep moving on. So once again, it's an egg pattern gig. Your water's going to vary from place to place for what you're going to find. Flies, standard egg flies. Use your favorite egg patterns and your favorite color, you'll be fine. Tippets, we're using 3X, 8-pound mostly. We're trying to get a soft drift. So that's what's going on out here in the western end of the lake. East end of the lake, I think Ricky's golden horseshoe is quieted down a little bit because, boy, last week he was hotter than a firecracker. It's gotten down to more of a normal grind or bite for him. He's once again covering a lot of water, getting a mix of brown trout and steelhead. He's been doing very well in steelhead, almost as well as I have out on the brown trout waters. He's been doing very well in the steelhead waters with brown trout. And he's been doing pretty decent with the steelhead. The steelhead are trickling. Very typical of November, the steelhead trickle in. There's never any big mass rush of them or a big pile of steelhead that come in at once. It's not like salmon, they just kind of puddle in. So you have to cover water, or fish through a lot of water for the steelhead. He's still fishing the DSR. It's a water coverage game as often. He's also doing probably as many fish in the pockets, probably more fish in the pockets he is in the pools. I think that has a lot to do with water conditions. He is picking up a fair amount of fish in the pools and runs swinging flies. His swing game is doing really good. So generally what he does, he's starting out first thing in the morning, fishing egg flies, fishing close to the bottom, drifting a few pockets, drifting a few pools. And about mid-morning, he's getting rid of all that stuff, going to sink tips and mini intruders, and then he's swinging everything. He's just covering water, still swinging. He's been messing around with a lot of variations of colors. I know from black and blue, black and purple, to pink and white, a combination thereof, olives, just a big mix of colors in his mini intruders. I think he's having fun tying them and fishing them, and the fish just don't care, and they're eating a good presentation. I think that's what it is. You find a fish, you make a good presentation, a good swing, you're going to get a bite. And the browns are obliging him too on that same presentation, so he's having a lot of fun with that. But his catch rate has come down to a more reasonable expectation for this time of the year. And he's covering a lot of water. And once again, Rick is doing he's fishing the Douglas and Salmon Run. There's really good action down there. A lot of brown trout down in the Douglas and Salmon Run. The steelhead are coming in pretty steady and leaving pretty steady. The middle of the Salmon River, like from town to Pineville, it's a slow grind. That's normal. The fish get spread out and they move through the water fairly consistently. So there again, it's a coverage game. You just got to cover a lot of water, fish through it, fish efficiently. You'll find a few fish, and you'll find a lot of peaceful water. Once you get up into the Altmar area, lower fly zone, things get really busy. There's a bunch of fish up in there, but a bunch of fishermen. Lower fly zone is still fishing good. A lot of steelhead up there. And even the upper fly zone's got a lot of steelhead, but it's also getting a lot of attention too. Same thing with like Altmar down there, is getting a lot of attention. So if you want to stay in some peaceful water, fish the middle section of the river. A lot of water, a lot of open water, a lot of unharassed water, a few fish, cover the water, you'll find a couple. The other thing I forgot to mention is they did have a squirt of salmon come through the DSR. And there's still, when I talked to them just before I did the report, and they were still finding a few Chinooks down there. Some decent, nice looking salmon, not zombies, some new arrivals. So a little handful kind of came through the system. So you salmon guys that just want that, get a chance to play with that last salmon, there's a few decent fish around. Mind you, upriver, they're rough. It's Zombieville. So that's basically what's going on. Water flows, the salmon is still at the 185 release. The reservoir is improving slowly, but it is improving. The rain we got recently helped a lot. Haven't heard if they're going to increase the flows yet or not on the salmon. So that's still status quo up there. So that pretty much will wind up the fishing report. I'm about ready to run out of battery power. So as always, hit the little subscribe button. We do have an egg fly tying video up, so I'll put a link down there. I'm about ready to lose my camera. Everything's flashing. Until next time, thanks for watching, folks. This is Jay at JPEG Guides and Lost River Fishing. We are a year-round fly fishing catch and release guide service. We fish the Lake Ontario tributaries, and then during the spring and the summer we also fish the inland trout streams, classic dry fly fishing. During the heat of the summer, we'll do the warm water fishing for bass and pike. If you're interested in any of our outings or have any questions, please feel free to email us at fish@lostriversfishing.com. Hope to hear from you, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.